we can't really monetize our product, and a lot of our time is spent on, let's say, handling existing business instead of actually getting new business through the door, simply because of the inefficiencies that we've built up over time. Commercial debt. Year and a half ago, so in the middle of the everybody can buy SaaS companies for large multiples era of 2021, 22, I was doing sort of the preliminary work on a project with a company here in Scandinavia that did enterprise software. So they maybe had 600 enterprise customers globally. We had gone through the initial research and had determined that we were pretty sure that we could raise prices on average 85%. And this wasn't even a stretch. This was just like not giving a lot of the legacy discounts, repricing to be just like not super cheap in the market, but just like benchmarking against competitors. So we just underpriced, 85% uplift. And the senior management team agreed with this, but they decided to sell the business instead. So they did. And they did sort of, let's say, half a unicorn. So it was a good exit for the founders. They were really happy and so forth. They sold to a trade buyer. Good for them. However, why didn't we just raise prices and then sell? Well, here's the reason. Because nobody knew how to do it from an operational standpoint. Because all of these 600 enterprise customers had been closed on essentially 600 different contracts. Like 600 different Word documents created by 10 different sales reps, only half of which still worked in the company. And the contracts were on like different local drives in different versions, some of them like signed, some of them not signed, and so forth. Really sort of in a disarray of what I call commercial debt. Commercial debt being you have a core commercial structure, contract framework, product framework, pricing framework, and then you make exceptions. You give discounts. You make product configurations. You make special terms and conditions. You do all the things you need to do as sales to close a customer, right? And then just keep doing it. And over a long period of time, suddenly what happens is that you have a lot of drag in the organization because nobody really knows precisely what product configuration is given to which customer. Your customer success team doesn't know what kinds of terms and conditions, what pricing you're giving to different, like some might be on a usage-based pricing, someone might be on a seat-based pricing, and so forth. So what in reality happened was that we said, well, to execute operationally on raising prices 85%, while we think they will accept it, will require us to dig out 600 contracts from different hard drives and then put the entire sales force to work for a year and a half on just renegotiating contracts with existing customers, which is going to be something that they have to do instead of actually selling new business. So this is what the commercial debt is. That is that we can't really monetize our product, and a lot of our time is spent on, let's say, handling existing business instead of actually getting new business through the door, simply because of the inefficiencies that we've built up over time. So this is the, ugly cousin of technical debt, which I guess is just as ugly, it's just different. And actually they drive each other, right? Technical debt seems to drive commercial debt because you need to do different commercial workarounds if you have a lot of technical debt, and vice versa. If you start to make bespoke agreements with different customers, you need to do different billing systems, you need to do different product sets and so forth, and that actually creates new commercial debt. So these two usually interact, but people mostly focus on technical debt and just lets commercial debt run wild, which then creates the technical debt and so forth. So I would argue that in order to actually grow a SaaS business and keep growing it, you need to keep this in control. You need to have one contract framework, one pricing framework, one discount framework, and so forth, and not deviate from it. If you deviate from it, only do it within the contract framework on temporary discount, never permanent ones. Because then over time, you will have all customers on one pricing framework within one contract framework, and then you can raise prices or change product with them simply by sending an email to the list, right? Netflix style. You don't have to do the renegotiation. So commercial debt is one of the things I see kill most like late stage startups like Series B and C, is that they just blow right through their Series A and so forth, which is great, but they just build up so much commercial debt that growth just starts to slow down. It becomes really hard to scale the sales engine. It becomes really hard to do anything in the business. And actually, when you're at like 10, 20 million ARR, it's not that big a business yet, right? But you just created so many inefficiencies getting there quickly that you can't really go past it and get to 50 or 100 million, where you really have like a solid business that is worth, let's say, $1 billion or whatever the goal is for you.